I hope you guys like the hum of cars driving by and fans, because that's what goes on here in Car Mechanic Simulator 2. We're coming back to do a little bit more work. I only did one thing off camera, which was, I mean, it's reset now that I've reloaded into the game, but I ran the Lincoln on the test path, and that's about all I did. I need to take it out for a test drive here, and we still got work to do on the Audi, like reattaching the gearbox and rebuilding the entire suspension, along with, well, we rebuilt the top end of the engine as well, so a lot of the other engine bay components is what we're kind of looking at. And I don't remember what I'm doing with this. Missing one part, and so this thing's getting some different suspension overhaul to it. But I guess we're gonna figure that out. I'm assuming probably one of the things that is missing, or rather, part that I know is missing, is I'm assuming that is one of the front knuckles. So I'm hopeful that when I take that kind of all apart, that it works, or that I can find it. But I don't really know. I know a decent portion of the stuff that I'm looking for. Like the entire front oh, that's what it must be, is the front sway bar, because I don't think I can test for the sway bar. Oh, I can test for the sway bar. I don't know what that is then. It could be a wheel bearing, but that looks fine. We're just taking these tires off this Merc. I don't know if this is an SLK or a CLK. Yep, I was right. That whole front knuckle's destroyed. So we're just gonna take this whole corner off the car. And you might have noticed me do it in the last video, and it's a little bit of a glitch, but you're only supposed to be able to take the arm off when the car's up on the lifter. But if you go to one of the rubber bushings that you can get a hold of there, you can take the rubber bushing off, in quotations, and it takes the whole arm off. And I misclicked there, so that whole corner's off the car. I think that would have been my, oh, it's just more suspension bits. Okay, and yeah, that missing part was the front knuckle there. So that's going up. I don't really know a lot of the parts we have left with this Audi. Like, obviously now we're missing the gearbox. I'm gonna have to buy more parts for the opposite corner, it looks like, over there. But I'm gonna see what I can do with the front end. I got that the bottom suspension arm B. This stuff's just kind of plugging together. Brake disc, brake pads, brake caliper. And it looks like we're gonna need to buy some more of those. So I'll have to do some shopping in a little bit. But looking like we can get the majority of this rear end together. And I don't know if I have any rear shock absorbers. Shock absorber, nope. Okay. Front knuckle B. We do have both front knuckles. How about just a regular old sway bar? We sure do. Bottom suspension arm, nothing. We can reinstall the uppers. We've got all 4 uppers we need for this. But I'll have to get a new knuckle for the other corner of the car. Plenty of axle covers. Get that hub in. I don't know if they actually, the person that created this Audi model, if they, okay, they did implement the, or at least I think they implemented the all-wheel drive. I mean, we're putting in the front axles. but I don't really know if that's what they did. Steering rack. I think I checked that already, but I wasn't paying attention. Get that together. And I'm gonna need to be buying more parts here and there. And I'm just looking. Alright. Got the pads. I don't have the new caliper yet. So that's gonna have to sit as is. And, alright, I gotta do a little bit of shopping here, so I'll come back with you once I'm done shopping. Alright, so I've gone through, and I've bought everything except the gearbox for the Audi, which I'm gonna buy the custom one right here. Drop 3 grand. I had spent about 20 grand, plus that now 3 grand on top for the gearbox here, for the Audi, so spent roughly $23,000, a little more, because I think I had 74,000, and I'm sitting just under 50 now. I did buy the wheels as well for the Audi. The wheels and tires, they're not mounted together. I'm going to have to do that, mount them, balance them. Just getting a lot of this rear end kind of put together. This Audi's gonna take up probably a good portion of this episode. I'm enjoying putting my cars together. And maybe in an episode or two, you'll be able to finally get to see my garage. Or at least the parking in the game, where my cars are stored. Got a couple oldies. I think the Audi here might be the newest car that I own. And I don't know what the oldest would be quite yet. So we've got the shock absorber rear. Get this stuff going together. And I hope I did a good decision on the Audi's tires, because I don't know. I'm familiar with like what the tire dimensions do, like the profile versus the like width versus the, well, obviously rim size. So the tread, the profile, and the whatever it's called that I can't think of, the rim. I know what the numbers mean, but I'm not good at like visualizing that. So I hope I got a large enough tire. I got 19-inch rims for the Audi. I don't know with I think it's a 30 or a 35 profile tire in millimeters there. I think that should be alright. And I got 2 different thicknesses for the front to the rear. It's not much of a difference between the 2 of them, but there definitely is a difference. I think I got 45s on the front, 2 45s, and I got, I think, 2 85s for the rear. So they're a bit thick, but I don't know if that's all there. I know I just mounted another rear, but I'm just gonna have an extra just in case. Actually, that's a complete lie. I forgot that I mounted the other one, so I just put it on there. Now we need a couple of front ones, so I do have a spare now at least. Starter. I want the quality parts on my car. That's how you get that German engineering. And I know you guys won't agree with my tastes all the time, but I hope to keep it together. Yeah, 285, 30, so I hope I hope the fitment looks right on the tires because I'm not good at visualizing the profile and I'm not really sure how large of a diameter that is, adding the millimeters to the inches for the rim. I'm just hoping that that ends up looking nice on the car. Keep getting them mounted, and I'll have to balance them as we go. I'm gonna just keep doing this as we go. Run it like a... I was gonna say run it like a marathon, but I meant like a conveyor belt. Run it like a conveyor belt. Okay. So we should be able to put that on the Audi, and we should be able to drop it and do a little bit of work on the engine bay. I think that was the last tire. Sure was. I'd considered putting these 23As on the Audi, but I didn't really know if that's the route I wanted to go. Alright, I got the 245s. So those are the front tires. This is one of the rear tires that's balancing. Oh. Yep. Alright. I've got at least one rear tire now, because I've got that. Like I said, I'm not sure how this fitment is gonna look. That's the Merc tire over there. How does that look? Oh, that's clean. I didn't know if it was gonna be too large for the wheel well. I feel like I could have, should have, would have maybe gone with a larger rim and perhaps a smaller profile of a tire. But I like the way that looks. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna stick with the way that looks, because that does, in my eyes, look very good. One of the last things I do have to do before I put this car on the ground, so I gotta stick the fuel pump back in it. And maybe, if I can get the interior back in it, we can start it up. It's not very loud inside the garage, and you can't really rev it unless you're on the dyno. But it is, you can still hear it fire up, and you can't really walk around it, but I guess you get what you get. And I'm excited to dyno this thing when I do eventually get to level 30, which we are 12 points away from. Car going for 100,000. I didn't realize it only had 10,000 miles on it. That does mean I might sell this thing eventually. That is interesting. I do want to know what the left rear fender is, or the left front fender that that's supposedly on the car still, that I don't know what I'm looking for. It's the front left fender. See, I would assume that it would be the front left fender, except that there's not a fender there. Maybe I'll be able to figure out what that is eventually. Let's see, overview. Okay. It's all together, I just don't know what I'm looking for with that little dealio there. Put that back together. Do we have an old front knuckle that was good? Yes, we do. Do I have a shock absorber? Nope. Alright. This thing's gonna go back together. As far as I'm aware, it didn't have any braking issues. So we should be able to just kind of pop everything back together. Because I believe that old disc, that 80% disc, is off this car. Same with the older pads that aren't quite 100%. And same with the caliper. So I think this is the only corner I took off the car. But I don't know. Gotta install the new absorber. Man, I love those rims on the Audi. I'm a big fan of that. I really like that. And it's worth 100,000. I did not put anywhere near that amount of money into it. Do these have different tire sizes? No, they're all 235 35s. Okay. That makes it nice and simple. Any tire can go on any corner. Because you don't really know which one goes where in this game. I should have sway bar end links. That was the one part I forgot to buy between these cars. I didn't buy any more of those. But we're down to 49,000. The Audi's soon gonna have to go back to the garage or to the parking, because it should be all there together. I gotta take that sway bar off. I should have a new one. I believe I bought a new one. I do. What about this corner? That's just missing the shock absorber as well. Let's get that second one put together, because I didn't. And get that end link back on there. Anything, I could put this 83% one back on, because I think they wanted it something like that. 77, yeah. Wheel hub bearing. Okay, they wanted that on the rear corner there, so I'll have to pop this tire back off. Pull the drive axle out. Pull the wheel bearing out. And that's a quick little kind of hot swap dealio there. Get that star pattern going. We got that. All the running gears together, and it's, I think, just a matter of putting that other end link back on the rear. I'm just gonna join a couple more parts while I'm at it. Get that rear shock absorber on there. Oh, that's gotta come off. Tire's gotta come off first. I didn't notice that one. I'm putting the tires back on too prematurely, because this is the second one you see I've taken off. I do know I've got another spare one of these. Don't have to go to the shop. Tire goes back on. Install. This tire should be able to go back on. And it's a matter of sticking my new shock absorber right inside here. I don't even bother dismantling the old ones. It's more efficient for me to just grab a new one. Pop the tire back on. I've got 4 spare tires for some sort of muscle car if I want it. I believe they're on the smaller side. Oh, wheel bearing. Oh, I gotta take this tire off again. Dang, unfortunate. No, that's not star pattern, but I didn't hit it straight on either. So, that was a little bit of mistakey, but one thing I don't really know, not being a real mechanic, is I don't know if the star pattern matters taking off the tire. I know it matters very, very much when you're putting it on. I don't know if it's everything when you're taking it off. Alright, that should be done. We got our money out of it, 52,000 now. And we're going to put the Lincoln up on the lifters. I don't know what this car needs, or I don't quite remember. I shouldn't have, well, I guess it's not up on the lifter yet. But I gotta take this guy out for a test drive. So that'll be fun. That'll be something interesting. We finally ticked up to that 25 mark. Let's take the Lincoln out. Mine's a little bit more green. Oh god. We're going. Accelerating as hard as we can. 60 horsepower. I think it has 60. We're putting all the power down on some pizza cutters. There we go. We're going. I'm flooring it. We're going a solid 31 miles an hour, 32. Oh, there we go. We're not out of first gear yet even. We're gonna hit this like we did with the Alpine. This thing's used to it. It didn't have paved roads in its time. Well, some of them. It wants to be in second, but at the same time it really doesn't either. Oh, I braked too early. We were going too slow. Okay. So you saw a little glimpse of that kind of dial there. We didn't check out the engine bay yet, but it looks like we're missing one part on the running gear, which isn't a rubber bushing. So I'm gonna assume that non-tested part that came up is, I'm gonna guess that's a wheel hub of some kind. Let's open up the hood. And we've got a knocking noise coming from the motor. Could be exhaust related, could be piston related, and we might be taking the whole engine apart. So I'm gonna run these couple of tests. Fuel pressure, fuel pump and fuel filter's fine. This car won't have an OBD2 port or an OBD period. I don't know. I never know if this compression meter actually relates to what it is. So we got a couple slightly damaged pistons and piston rings. That wasn't a part. Alright. That's good. I'm very happy. I'm stoked with that. That it's not the pistons that I'm taking the entire engine apart. I'm gonna imagine it's some sort of idle roller or the belts. But I do just want to be thorough. Actually, no, I wouldn't be that. I was gonna test the tires for the issue on the running gear, the one part that we're missing. But I don't think that's the case. That belt's fine. That belt's okay. We're getting some sort of knocking noise from the... Would this engine happen to have push rods? I don't know that answer. Looking at the front timing, I think that's the camshaft on the side. So I'm going to assume yes, and pulling that off, I saw my sadness before my eyes. So that rocker arm there, that must be one of the knocking issues. And I can't tell. I was trying to see if I could investigate which one of these valve push rods are bad, which that one is. And I'm gonna pull this one. Was that a lucky pull? It sure was. There's a couple more knocking issues, and I don't know what else it would be other than to pull out all of the push rods. No, I was kind of hoping that the distributor was going to be an issue, because that's an easy fix. Our spark plugs are fine. They tested good. I guess I'm just gonna keep pulling these out, because I don't know what's good and what's bad. Let's actually pull the top off. I don't know if that filter's looking good or not, actually. It is. Battery is alright. Carb tested alright for compression, or with the compression. Really, that's where I assume the carb tested, because it didn't come up in the fuel test, and I didn't pay attention during the electronic test. Pulled all those out. I was afraid of that. We are missing a singular part. I'm gonna pull the timing cover off. And I wonder if it's something to do with the cam or the timing. Yes, it is. It's the timing, or it's the cam gear that we're gonna see what we can, if we've got a spare. I don't. I'm gonna take a couple more orders while we're sitting here. We got our next story order. The Salem Quran. Ooh, that's clean. I didn't read the story because I didn't care at the second. That's what I was gonna start off tomorrow with. Repair or replace body parts. Yeah. I'll take in the Rocket Bunny Golf. That's a clear, easy body part fix that you can see. I don't know what that brown is. I think they just didn't do the rust texture correctly whenever they imported this. The fender, the bumper. What are the body parts that I'm taking off? Front left, the trunk, the whole trunk. So it looks like the front right door window is the other bit that we're looking at. Car is loud. We should be able to see that pretty easily. Exhaust manifolds and the downpipe, I think that's called. Or maybe it just is the straight up exhaust pipe. In technical terms, I don't know. That's one of our running faults. Okay. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna read this, and we'll see what goes on. It's a limited edition Curon. At the price I've paid for it was practically a steal. The problem is that it sat in a barn for a while. Check it out to see if it was a great find or just a piece of junk. Either way, fix it up for me. Money is no issue here. Just make it pretty. So I'm gonna be very sad. Yep. I was gonna say, I know as soon as he said that, I was like, it's clean. It's not gonna be clean on the inside. So that's unfortunate. I'm gonna end this off by firing up the Audi. Alright, we got some oil put in the Audi. We're gonna fire it up. Listen to the V12, or wow, V10. The Porsche V10 that I just put in it. This is the motor out of the Carrera. Can't rev it or anything yet, but that's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. Alright. Make sure to like, subscribe. We'll finish up the Audi, finish up the Lincoln. We got a couple more cars waiting. So make sure to tune in next time to see how this goes. Once we get to level 30, we can fix all this damage on the Audi. But next time we'll probably just put the body panels on and send it back to the garage. I'll go back into the garage and I'll pull out another one of my little cars. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, tell me what you think about the Audi. Make sure to comment, see what kind of cars you'd like me to get. There's not everything in this, but for the most part there's a good portion, from 911s to Golfs to just about anything else. So you comment it. If I've got it installed, I will try and get it. Let me know what you think. Alright, peace.